Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we are going to be talking about the best trucks and the worst trucks for the 2021 year. And when I say 2021 year, that doesn't necessarily mean that these trucks are going to be a 2021 on the window sticker. Some of these trucks will be 2022s. The only thing that will allow a truck to be put on this list is that it was sold to the public in the 2021 year. I will make an updated revised version of this video in 2022 where all of the trucks will at least be 2022s. Some of them might be 2023s, right? It depends on how the manufacturers do things in terms of their production times and everything. And then I do want to also mention this is going to focus on half-ton trucks. I will make a video about heavy-duty trucks and then mid-size trucks as well, but those videos will be on the second channel most likely. And so with all that being said, let's just get right into the video. Now we are going to start from last place and go up to first place for the trucks. Now the first one is going to be the 2021 Nissan Titan. So yes, this is kind of sad that Nissan is getting last place. But here's the thing is I'm not saying that this is a bad truck. It's just that the Titan hasn't really done anything to really innovate things within the half-ton truck segment. It's an awesome truck. It comes with a ton of standard equipment. It has a really solid powertrain. The naturally aspirated 5.6 liter V8 and the 9-speed automatic transmission are phenomenal. It's really good at towing. It has a decent payload capacity. The Pro 4X package is an awesome off-road truck that you guys know I'm a huge fan of because it has, you know, this analog feel where you feel like you're connected with the truck, especially off-roading, and it handles amazing off-road because it has a limited slip differential. And just overall, there's a lot of things to love about the Titan between the standard equipment, the safety tech it has, the pricing that it's at, but it doesn't really innovate in any way. So I can't really give it, you know, a super high place in the list when Nissan hasn't done anything with that truck to make it so that it, you know, goes above and beyond in the segment. So overall, it's a really good truck. It has a great warranty. It's reliable as well with the powertrain. And some of the other powertrains from other truck makers you guys will hear about in today's video you might not like as much. So yeah, that's why I put the Titan at last, is just because Nissan hasn't done anything with it to really innovate in the segment all too much. But it's still, again, a very solid truck. Now, the next truck in the lineup is going to be the 2021/2022 Chevy Silverado 1500. Now, I say /2022 because they are selling the limited version of the Silverado, which is just a 21 with a 22 on the window sticker. You guys have seen me review that truck. This is before they do the whole redesign with the truck. So the redesign will probably change Chevy's standing in this list quite a bit. But as the truck sits, it has a bunch of different powertrain options. Some of them are great, some of them are not. I drove like the 2.7 liter turbocharged engine, and yeah, that thing is interesting. The 5.3 V8, pretty solid. The 6.2, you guys know I'm a huge fan of. I've seen a lot of people comment though that the 6.2 apparently isn't super reliable, which kind of shocks me because usually those big block V8s that are naturally aspirated do pretty good from a reliability standpoint. But I'll leave that off to the side for now. But moving from that, right, there's a bunch of cool packages you can get, like the Trail Boss package, for example. If you want more on the luxury side, there's the High Country. But when you go to the interior, this is where things kind of fall apart. Chevy has some nice safety tech. It's got a pretty good infotainment system, which is great from a response time perspective. The seats are pretty comfortable, but the interior materials and layout and everything isn't all that nice. It doesn't really give you the feeling that you're getting into a super nice upscale vehicle, especially, you know, the High Country and the LTZ, which are supposed to be luxury trucks. You just don't get that luxury truck feel when you pop in the interior. And that is the thing that holds back the Silverado more than anything else, is just the interior. And then on top of that, again, on the innovation side of things, Chevy hasn't done all that much to really innovate in the truck segment for the 2021 model year. The one thing I guess they did add with the new Silverado was the camera mirror a few years ago, which I guess that's a huge plus. But Ram uses that system now, and so yeah, there's not a whole lot from that perspective. But like I said, the redesign is probably going to change the standing of this vehicle quite a bit in this list. And then the next one up is going to be the sibling vehicle, the GMC Sierra. It's the same as the Silverado. It just looks a little bit better, but it's also a lot more expensive. And so that's why I'm pretty much putting it neck and neck with the Silverado, because they're the same truck, except again, the GMC is more expensive but looks a little bit better. And so all the things that I said about the Silverado apply to the Sierra as well. But I'm sure, again, these two will get bumped up quite a bit on the list with the redesign that is happening. Now, moving from that, this is the one that's probably going to shock you all quite a bit, and that is the all-new Toyota Tundra, the 2022 Tundra. Again, even though this is a 2022 model year truck, you can take delivery of that truck right now, right before 2022 happens, so it's in this whole mesh with 2021, and I absolutely love the new Tundra. Now, I understand some people think that this isn't necessarily the best truck because they've switched to a turbocharged V6 from the naturally aspirated V8, and then on top of that, the packages I have reviewed, the SR5 and the Limited, were not only expensive, but they didn't necessarily have the nicest interiors from a material standpoint. But here's what I have to say from reviewing the truck and spending some time with it and driving it as well. First off, it looks a lot better in person than it does in pictures. Pictures and videos, doesn't look all that great. But in person, especially the white ones that I reviewed, I thought it looked absolutely fantastic. It had this cool, sporty, like Stormtrooper type look to it. And yeah, I'm just a huge fan overall of the styling on the new Tundra on the exterior. And I think it's a huge improvement over the previous generation. And then going from that to the interior of the truck, the seats in all the packages are amazing. All of the trucks that I reviewed had really nice seats, which is important because that's the place you're going to sit in the vehicle. And then the touch points on the truck, even though they weren't necessarily the nicest materials, they felt really sturdy, really durable, and they just felt nice to touch. And the actuation and everything felt really good. Like it felt like I was getting in this just really brawny, tough truck. And so, I don't know. I liked it. I liked the feeling of it. Tech was right where it needed to be from a safety tech perspective and then from a camera perspective and all that kind of stuff. Like Toyota has improved the camera system with the truck immensely. Like the resolution on it's actually really good. And then from an engine perspective, I know a lot of you want your big naturally aspirated V8s, but we are in the 21st century where emissions restrictions are really strict. And that twin turbo V6 is amazing. The power delivery is fantastic. It's going to get a lot better fuel economy. I mean, it'll be a Tundra that'll actually get good fuel economy, right? And then moving on from that, they're going to have a hybrid, which I guess I can't really use that to weigh too much because you can't get one of those yet, but that will be next year. So yeah, you know what? We'll leave that in next year's video, but still, it's cool that they'll be releasing that. But anyways, as the Tundra stands with the base engine, it's an amazing truck. And then also the 5-link coil suspension. The ride quality is fantastic. The truck stays nice and planted. So you can imagine with the TRD package, you know, the TRD off-road rather, and then the TRD Pro and all that stuff, it's going to do amazing off-road because you're going to have so much flex from the suspension. And again, it's just going to stay nice and planted. And yeah, overall, I think Toyota nailed it. And now let's get into the winners. Okay, so before I announce second place, which will obviously give away the winner, I want you guys to let me know in the comment section below if you think it's going to be Ford or Ram. And here's what I have to say. The winner for the, for 2021 is going to be Ford, so that puts Ram in second place. Hear me out on this. So, yes, the new Ram 1500 has an amazing interior, and Ram has done a bunch from a technology standpoint in terms of innovation, right? They've got a blind spot monitoring system that is not only for the truck, but it's also for the trailer, and it basically will like auto-regulate itself. So you just have to hook the truck up to a trailer, you take a few turns, and then the blind spot monitoring system will work for both the truck and the trailer, which is really cool. You don't have to go into a dealership to measure it. So they have cool technology with the truck. It's got the camera mirror system, which you guys know I'm a huge fan of. And then on top of that, right, their whole camera system where it goes over the bed and the sides of the truck and all that kind of stuff. And yes, I understand Chevy has that and Ford has that as well. But yeah, Ram does an amazing job from a technology standpoint. And then they have, multiple suspension options. They have the air suspension, which I'm not necessarily a huge fan of, but I understand the utility. And then they have the 5-link coil suspension, which gives the truck a nice smooth ride quality. When you take the truck off-road, it's got tons of flex. It stays nice and planted. In the Tier X package, that thing just destroys off-road. And I just took the new Rebel GT off-road, and it did absolutely fantastic off-road because the coil, that has the air suspension, but the air suspension acts like the coil suspension in terms of staying planted and having tons of flex and everything. But yeah, Ram does an amazing job, and then their interiors are fantastic. The interior materials and the design and the layout is just phenomenal. Everything in the truck is amazing. It feels like a nice luxury truck inside, and then on the outside, right, you can have a cool sporty look, or you can have a more luxury, basic luxury look with bunches of chrome and everything. A bunch of chrome and everything. So yeah, Ram's just done a really good job. However, I think that Ford has done a more balanced out job with their truck overall. So first off, you can get way more engine options in the new F-150 than you can get in the Ram. If you want a naturally aspirated V8, great, you can get one. They have a 5.0 V8. If you want something that is a little bit more modern and is going to get you better fuel economy and is a little bit more on the performance side, they've got the new EcoBoost and it has crazy power outputs. And then if you want something that's even more modern and crazier, they have the new PowerBoost, right, which is a hybrid. And so they have all these different engine options. And obviously they have the 270 EcoBoost still. But anyways, they have a bunch of engine options for every type of buyer. Ram doesn't do that. You can get a Hemi, right? You can get a Hemi with e-torque. You can also get an EcoDiesel as well, and then you can get the V6. The V6 just doesn't have enough power, in my opinion. It gets better fuel economy, but it just doesn't have, you know, grunt. Like the 2.7 from Ford, I'd rather have that over the V6 from Ram any day. And then you move from that to the regular 5.7 Hemi. Well, Ford has the 5.0, which is just as, you know, has just as much grunt as that 5.7 Hemi. And then you move to the e-torque, and the e-torque doesn't really feel like it performs all that much better than the regular 5.7. But, you know, the difference between the 5.0 from Ford and the EcoBoost is crazy. And then the PowerBoost is even crazier. And so you just don't have that spread with Ram. They just don't have enough in terms of engine options for different types of buyers, whereas Ford does. And then in terms of the exterior styling, right, this is going to be, you know, just up to personal preference. But I think that both of the trucks look fantastic. I think the Ram looks fantastic. I think the Ford looks fantastic. And just like Ram, Ford offers a bunch of exterior packages where you can basically tailor the truck to what you want it to look like. If you want more luxury or if you want sportier looks, they let you do that. Popping at the interior, this is where a lot of people are going to argue with me, but I prefer the interior on the new Ford, and here's why. It doesn't have as much nice materials as what the Ram has. The Ram obviously has tons of leather, you know, on the higher up packages, tons of leather on the dash, really nice seats, really nice wood trim in like the Limiteds, and then in the sporty packages like the TRX, you've got tons of carbon fiber trim and just a really cool interior. The Ford doesn't use as much from a nice material standpoint, but the design and the layout just makes sense and it looks really nice, and stuff that you're just going to look at and never touch looks really good from a design standpoint, whereas with the Ram, there's stuff you're going to look at but never touch that feels really nice, but again, you're never going to touch it because it's like the dash. And it, you know, it looks really nice, but it doesn't look as cool from a design standpoint as what you have with the Ford. I love the digital gauge cluster as well with the Ford. I prefer the horizontal, or not horizontal, yes, the horizontal infotainment system in the Ford to the vertical in the Ram. I think that it just makes more sense and it looks a little bit better from an aesthetic perspective. And the Ford rides pretty much just as smooth as the Ram. Now, yes, most of the trucks in the lineup still use leaf springs with the new F-150, so you still get a little bit of that wheel hop, whereas you don't get that in the Ram. But Ford has released a new Raptor with the 5-link coil suspension, which is, you know, from an off-road application standpoint, the point where I really care about suspension to the extent where I'm really going to complain about leaf springs a massive amount, and Ford has fixed that. And so I think that they have a truck for everyone in their lineup. Whereas Ram has a truck for a lot of people, but not every single buyer like what Ford has. And so I think that just gives Ford a little bit of an edge for, you know, the best truck for 2021. They're both great trucks from, you know, really good manufacturers. But I think that Ram needs to just offer more engine options. That's just my personal opinion. They need to offer, you know, something that's a little bit higher performance than the 5.7 Hemi. The 5.7 Hemi is great for most buyers, but there's some people that want a little bit more performance than that, but they don't want to buy a TRX because they want something that can tow, and they don't want something that's going to be at the gas station every other day, right? And so, yeah, that's pretty much everything for the comparisons and everything in today's video. Hopefully that helps you out if you're searching for a truck. And like I said, I'm going to do an update of this video, you know, probably pretty early on in 2022, as soon as I have a chance to review a 2022 Nissan Titan to see if they've updated anything there, and then the new Silverado and new GMC Sierra. Then I'll be able to do a video for, you know, every single truck for the 2022 model year, and hopefully that'll help you out. Help all of you guys out then. Man, I cannot talk today. But yeah, hope that helped, and I'll see you guys.